America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to September 18th Town Board meeting. We have a special guest tonight. For some folks who may have noticed, the American Legion posts across the country are celebrating their centennial. Our American Legion is going to our post 72 is going to be celebrating its centennial this year as well. We have two special guests here that are willing to talk about some of the festivities surrounding that. So with that, I'd like to welcome Kevin Pendergast. Please come to the podium. The microphone may not be on. There's a little switch. When it lights up red, you should be good to go. I heard it. I think you got it.
I think we're up.
You're up?
We're live?
Yep. Okay. Thank you for coming, gentlemen. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having us here tonight. I'd like to first introduce our team that's been involved in this process. It's actually this football over the finish line. This started years ago in the process. And I came into the finish line to get this done. And I'm working with our commander, Warren Whitaker, Bill Payne, Paul Pfizer, Vince Bono, Bob Chappelle, Ray Teeter, and Mike Karasay, who's actually a volunteer from the community, who does many things in our community. We're very fortunate to have him. So again, we thank you for having us tonight. Our program, I'd like to just touch a little base on the history. You know, World War I ended November 11th, 1918. 97 days after that, in Paris, February 16th, 1919, the American Legion was chartered. Finally, soon after that, in September 1919. 142 days after the establishment of the American Legion in Paris, a group of World War I American soldiers from Saugerties met on Tuesday, July 8, 1919, in the town clerk's office in Saugerties, New York, to form the Lamoury-Hackett Post 72 of that American Legion. The post was named after Albert Lamoury and Patrick Hackett, both Saugerties veterans that had been killed in the very last days of World War I. So why do we do what we're doing? It's because of the memory of what they started and what they did. To do this right, it's a 3-day event. We're very fortunate. We're going to have hometown veteran and Medal of Honor recipient Roger Donlin join us for the week, and his wife Norma. We kick it off October 16th at Diamond Mills with what we call a Centennial Military Dinner. Roger and his wife will be our honored guests. We'll have 2 speakers that night, Mark Isaac and Bill Payne. And that night itself, we'll conclude it with a Roger H.C. Donlin Community Spirit Award. That award will be presented to a community member, unnamed at this point, but to us. And it's going to be an award that we're going to continue on behalf of the American Legion. It'll be a community-based award. It's not just specifically a veteran. We will formulate it more after this program's over with, but we hope to continue this every fall and nominate or have an honoree from the community, whether a veteran, somebody from one of our community's members. So it'll be something we'll continue, and it'll be a namesake to remember Roger for what he's done for this community, for our veterans. Following our dinner, let me go back real quick. At our dinner, the Woodstock Brass will be on hand. They will perform during the social hour. So it'll be a very good night. And the tickets for it are available down at the Legion. At the stop in there after 3. The tickets are available to the public. On the 16th is our next, the 19th is our next event. That'll be our Centennial Military Parade. The Grand Marshal for that, obviously, we will have Roger, Colonel Donlin, and Norma. And the parade will be to honor and remembrance of all our veterans, from World War I all the way to today, where we still have our young veteran service members in the battlefield. The parade steps off at 2 p.m., forms down here at Cantine Field. And we'll be using the senior center as a staging area. And we'll depart out down Washington Ave to Main Street to Market Street, Lafayette Street to John Street, and it'll terminate back at the post. We're going to have, I'll have a couple of trailers for the community band. We'll have a trailer for our veterans and cars from Sawyer Motors. And at this point, we have about 21 units participating in the parade. So we're very happy for that. And we're just very pleased that right now we have the community band joining us. It's been a little bit of a work finding a band. Post after the parade, everybody's welcome back to the post for an open house. We have the 77th New York Regimental Belvederes, and then we have the Paul Luke Band playing that afternoon from 4. Both will be involved from 4 to 8. And there'll be a cookout sponsored by Stone Pony at the post. And if we didn't stop there, we're going to move on to Sunday. Sunday, we're going to have another open house in honor and remembrance of all our veterans. It'll be a welcome to everybody, to the veterans and visitors, to an open house. Music will be provided by the Veterans in the Field, Bill Payne and his musical group. And then we got a World War I nurse reenactor that'll be on hand. And the Veteran Museum will be open as well for tours. And the museum will also be open on Saturday as well. So there'll be some vehicles left there too. We're going to have some of our contributors that are coming with military vehicles to stand by and stay there for the weekend as much as they can. So we're hoping to have vehicles there for folks. So that highlights what our parade is. As I said, the parade starts here, our dinner, our after. We can't stress enough how important this is to honor all our veterans from World War I on and take part in this thing. And when we look back about our veterans, there's a little note that Bob Chappelle tossed my way last night that we want to stress that there's been 4,151 Saugerties veterans known to have served, and 195 Saugerties veterans that have made the supreme sacrifice. I didn't know that number, but it's quite a number that sticks out in your head. And it's something to think about. But we hope the community will be behind us and join in the celebration. We only got one shot to hit 100 right, I don't think I'll be here for the next one. So, but we put a lot of work into this. And like I say, the museum, everybody's been to the museum. This process, when I was taking over as commander last year, and the Legion's building you up to get ready for this centennial, and I'm going through it, and all these things they want you to do to make sure your post is ready, and I'm just checking these things off, and I'm like, wow, these guys are way ahead of this thing, light years ahead of this thing. We've got it in the bag. All we got to do is just get this parade and the honor part under us. And so our museum is by far, I talked to a lot of people who've been through it. There's museums around the country that don't have what we have. And that's something we should all be very proud of. So, but that's what we have going on. I'd love to take any questions or more. You got anything you want to add?
No, you did everything.
Okay. Well, I've had practice at this. So I certainly, if you folks have any questions or anybody out here have questions on our events.
So the tickets for the dinner are available right at the Legion?
Right at the Legion. Stop in to see the bar staff.
Okay.
They will take good care of you right there.
We changed the time of our meeting in anticipation of attending. So we're I think I speak for the whole board, very much looking forward to participating in this. We couldn't be prouder of our American Legion or VFW. You guys have been terrific advocates for vets, not just in Saugerties, but across Ulster County and even farther. And it's a privilege to be part of that. So we look forward to celebrating this. It's certainly momentous. I don't think any of us will be here for the next one. And we certainly want to leave good memories for people to look back upon. So
I appreciate that. Okay. It's only one chance to mark that history book. We're going to do it. Saugerties never lets us down, so we're going to do it just like our fellow veterans have done, So, But on another note too, I want you to know too that, one big thing with our hall, is to keep this Legion is really a part of our community. Not just for the veterans, but probably most everybody has a connection to a veteran. But this facility is really a community facility in a way, with the museum and what it provides, Going forward, we need to make sure we find a way to sustain it and preserve it, and that's what I hope the next generation of us will do, is veterans that are in there and our community members work with us and help us, So it takes a lot of money to keep it running. We do the best we can, knock on a lot of doors, hang a lot of helmets out, but, we want to make sure that it stays here strong. It's sad around the community, around the country, so many of these veteran organizations are shutting down. And, it's a livelihood for these guys and for our communities to make sure that history stays there.
So, for anyone who has not been to the museum, it is absolutely worth the time. We all know the big themes about the world wars and other wars, but to see it from the perspective of a Saugerties resident and share those memories and memorabilia that families have been willing to contribute to the museum is a completely different and moving perspective. So if anybody hasn't done it and you can get in touch with Bill Payne, he'll take you on a tour. It'll be certainly worth your time and an experience that you will not soon forget.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Well, I'll close it with that, and we'll look forward to everybody getting together here in a few weeks. We're only about 4 weeks out. Counting was counting, right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're continuing on to meeting. No one has signed up to address the board this evening. If there was someone here who wanted to address the board, please step forward. All right, we have a number of students here tonight. We'd like to take the opportunity to welcome them. I have a number of comments I'd like to share. Tomorrow will be the final food truck for the 2019 season. This will be our 4th one. We've been getting increasing levels of turnout, and credit to Marjorie and the people who are helping her. They've done a really great job, and the food trucks that have come are very dedicated to our festival. There will be some beer there. We encourage you to come. It's a really nice family outing. Tomorrow at 11:30, we will be attending court on the Corolla's First Weeks matter. Folks who have been following us in the paper are pretty aware of that. The time has been changed. The court proceeding will begin at 11:30. Deputy Supervisor Thornton and I were able to attend the Ulster County Chamber of Commerce Buy Local at Diamond Mills this afternoon. This has been a tradition in Saugerties for at least a decade, and if you didn't get there today, please put it on your calendar for next year. There was about 20 new vendors, terrific energy in the room, and it's truly a celebration of the opportunities for economics in Ulster County and Saugerties more specifically. But it was well attended and well organized, so congratulations to the Chamber of Commerce and the staff at Diamond Mills. Happy to report that reconstruction of the Mount Marion Dam is underway. This is another New York Rising project. That project should be completed certainly before the bad weather comes. It's progressing along pretty nicely, and it's kind of impressive. They had water bladders out there that diverted the flow of the creek while they were installing the forms for the new concrete. So that's quite a thing to see. The Mountain Water Extension is also probably 80% complete. Most of the pipe has been installed. There are 2 areas where they hit rock, which was anticipated during the installation of the pipe, and those connections are being made over the next few weeks, and they've begun ground restoration. At some point in the future, this will create the opportunity for the town board in the future to move the boundary of the Mountain Water District to the west and encompass the homes that lie near this pipe. This pipe the installation of it is being paid for by the New York State Thruway. For the immediate future, they will be the primary user, but in the near future, it's expected that we will have the opportunity to extend the boundary and offer that service to homeowners. So this is a pretty exciting, unique project, and gives us an opportunity to expand our water infrastructure. Over the weekend, St. Joseph's Church of Glasgow was able to celebrate their centennial of moving into that building where the church exists now. It was pretty well attended by parishioners. We've They're doing a memorializing resolution on their behalf this evening. And the East Lake Solar Project on the town landfill is also well underway and under construction. They're still doing some of the site preparatory work. They will soon be installing the solar panels and the ballast that will hold them in place. And one of the motions we're doing tonight is in support of this project as well. We hope to be one of the primary customers, the town government, in purchasing this electricity once it's up and running. And this is a really exciting project for folks who are watching us at the beginning of the year when we made the approvals for it. It used to cost us about $30,000 a year to maintain this property. We'll be collecting that amount in rent, so it's a nice swing, generating revenue, and it's also going to be a good source for renewable energy. So a lot of good news there. On 9/24 from 3 to 6, tickets are still available until Friday. The Town Emergency Services are planning to host in 2 years the state convention here in Saugerties. One of the first fundraisers for that is a barbecue dinner hosted by Cook's Barbecue. It will be on 9/24 at the Knights of Columbus. Tickets are still available till Friday. If anyone is interested, you can reach out for any volunteer fire department has them. If someone's interested, I can get you a ticket for it as well. This should be a really nice event, and that will be a signature event in Saugerties when it happens 2 years from now. But there's a lot of planning and fundraising that needs to be done to it to make it successful, and this is one of the first events they're doing to try and raise the money that's necessary to make that event successful. And that's all I have for this evening. I'll ask for approval of minutes for the pre-board meeting of 9/4/19, town board meeting of 9/4/19, the public hearing of 9/4/19, and the zoning law amendment for ZBA escrow account. Is there a second?
Second?
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I ask for approval of bills. General fund, $115,706.78. General outside village, $3,000.59. Highway, $119,387.02. Capital projects, $14,145. Lighting districts, $9,947.97. Sewer operations and maintenance, $384. Water operations and maintenance, $314.44. Trust and agency, $1,160.86 for a total of $264,046.97. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Department head reports, Mr. Meyer.
I'm good tonight, thank you.
I've had the opportunity to spend a little time with Mr. Meyer the last few days. He has had a pretty productive summer. He's done a significant amount of paving and road repair. This afternoon, we partnered with the village to pave a driveway to the 3 million gallon water tank as part of maintenance. And it was very uplifting to drive around and see the amount of work and the quality of the work that's been done. We have a couple of other big challenges before the bad weather, one of them being Emmerich Road. There's a lot of planning going into that to make sure that that's successfully repaired. Anything else? Okay. Move on from department reports, committee reports, Mr. Andreessen.
I'd also like to commend the highway department for their unsung work that goes unnoticed by a lot of people. You certainly are out there every day, and we appreciate that. Please pass that along to your staff.
I will.
It looks like they're doing a good job. I go down County Route 34 all the time where they're putting in the water line for Malden, and we appreciate that as residents there, that they seem to really clean that road up every night and make it passable. You don't see that in every project, unfortunately, but we're happy for that, and the residents appreciate that. I know that we have some folks that live on Saugerties Creek Road, very concerned about the milfoil, and I know that the village is contracted with a harvester, and possible, I've talked to some local residents on that road, if we might be able to look a little bit further into some more funding for that cleanup there, so that we don't lose that valuable resource. You can't fish there. The oxygen level is depleted, and they're just taking over the milfoil. So hopefully going forward, this board and any future boards can look into possibly purchasing some piece of equipment, maybe roll it into the budget somehow, share it with other municipalities if possible. This Saturday was a Texas Roadhouse had sponsored a rib eating contest for the first kickoff fundraiser for which started out with Captain Jack Rose, who perished in a fire in 2015, a local Saugerties firefighter, and it is now morphed into a fallen firefighter, first responders, EMS, police, K-9, died in the line of duty, and there'll be a monument designed and created by local people. There's a committee involved. Certainly the public is always welcome to attend those meetings, and they hope to have a dedication in 2021. They have their annual Hudson Valley Firemen's Conference. We have the Historic Preservation Committee. I think Councilman Schoonmaker will chime in on some of that, his report, but they propose a slight increase in their budget, and we would like to see if they have some projects that they want to underwrite and go forward with, and hopefully we can support them in their endeavor. We have a local, some groups want to lower the speed limit in Malden to 30 miles an hour, and I understand that through the highway department and the county, and certainly the police department will look further into that, and I know that has to rise over to the state level to get approvals. So we've had no meetings for the sewer advisory committee. We'll start that back up next week, so I have nothing to report on that. We did one employee, I know that you probably addressed that at the last meeting, retired, moved on to another position, so Tommy Cafaldas, we wish him well, and I'm sure that we'll be looking for a replacement at some point in the future. And I do encourage everyone to participate, especially the young people out there, if you can just spread the word about the centennial for the American Legion. It's a pretty big deal, and like Kevin and Warren said, we won't be around for the next one. So as a member of the Legion myself, Councilman McCarthy is also a member. We're both veterans, and it's important to remember those folks. They certainly gave more than I ever have, but it's please support them, go to the museum, and that banquet hall is available for rental. You do not have to be a veteran to rent that banquet hall, and I think that helps their bottom line to support. And
their raffle tickets.
And the raffle tickets, and they really need some community support to keep that place on. So hopefully you look favorably on that. I think that Councilman Schoonmaker will mention the food truck festival and those types of things, right?
Fred already mentioned that earlier.
Okay. And then you have some other tourism stuff, I think. You might want to mention garlic festival, things like that. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Mrs. Thornton?
Okay. This one? No. All right, first an update on the library. For those of you who are, cringe every time you get your insurance bill for your car insurance, this coming Saturday on the 21st from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., You can sign up for a defensive driving course. It's only $22, and that will give you a 10% discount on your car insurance. Registration is simple. You go to the main circulation desk at the library, and they'll tell you who to make your checks out to, which would be the instructor of the course. Library's in full swing. Life Spring classes will be starting up. I mentioned last meeting registration is over with, but sometimes classes open up, so if anybody's interested, go on the website and see what might be available. Last night I went down to the Ulster County Legislators meeting, basically to represent the town, because the legislators were going to be voting on resolution number 379. Resolution 379 will hopefully help other communities in Ulster County deal with the issue of what is safe construction and debris. The legislative intent of this particular resolution adds to the definition of the word refuse, and basically it defines what is regulated waste and construction and demolition debris. This resolution, they cited basically that the town of Rochester and Saugerties were two towns in Ulster County that are dealing with issues of inappropriate substances being brought in and deposited on county land. So it was approved last night by the legislature, so that was good news. Also, you probably aren't aware of this, but we have in Ulster County a young man who actually won the National Master Chef Junior Championship. He's 13 years old, and he was presented with the Pride of Ulster County Award last night. His name is Che Spiata of Boyceville, and he was recognized by the legislature, and they had a video clip of the shows that he was on as a master chef. Let me tell you, this kid is unbelievable. And he was Mr. Personality last night. He's one of 3 boys in the family. The family business has to do, believe it or not, with solar installations and a solar company. So he said his dad and his mom let him in the kitchen when he was 3 years old. And if you watch it on television, I'm sure you can probably pull it up on YouTube. Quite an accomplishment. And the other honoree last night was someone who was here probably 5 years ago. And her name was Marilyn Manos-Jones, and she also received the Pride of Ulster County for her protection of the butterflies and pollinators. She came here about 5 years ago and talked about in Saugerties, people should start planting flowers that attract bees and attract butterflies. And as she said last night, she thought the town board sat there looking like, what is this lady talking about? We kind of were like, oh, okay. Well, she said, I'm happy to know that communities throughout Ulster County listen to her, and many libraries, many town facilities, the flowers that we plant around our town buildings are basically in part due to the wisdom that she spoke about the importance of bees and butterflies, and she was recognized last night, so that was kind of nice to be there for that. Boys and Girls Club, once again, the infamous dinner for 4 for only $35. It is a fundraiser for Boys and Girls Club. It's going to be on Monday, October 7th. Brendan from Marabella's does the cooking. This year there's a change. You pick up your dinners at Marabella's. It's dinner for 4 for $35. Brendan donates basically $10. $10 for every dinner sold goes back to the club. And I have ordered this. It really feeds 6 people. I mean, you can get multiple meals out of it. So anybody that's interested, you can get it off the Boys and Girls Club website. I have some order forms here. You can pick up what time you want to pick it up. It's a great opportunity. October 23rd is the annual steak and burger dinner. That is where they honor the kids who participate at Boys and Girls Club. There are over 100 students, give or take 75 to 100 every day at Boys and Girls Club. All 4 of the school sites in the after-school programs are running. They're up to, not capacity, but very well received this year. Food Truck Festival, we mentioned, that's to benefit Small World Playground. That'll be tomorrow night, 4:30 to 9 o'clock. There will be music. There will be beer for those of you who don't want soda or water bottles. TV 23, we're having a meeting with Chief Sinagra and other members of the Emergency Action Committee to update basically the role of TV 23 if in the event we had an emergency situation here in the town. Comprehensive Planning Committee meets next Thursday. The Rewrite Committee, we're meeting on Monday night. And the Saugerties Transportation Committee, we're meeting on Tuesday night, the 24th. One of the issues that is on the agenda for that meeting, as Mr. Andreessen said, is a concern from the members who live in Malden about the speed limit there. And Mr. Meyer has weighed in on this, and because it is a county road, this is something that will have to go through the town board, basically, then to, ask the county, basically, to make some changes. Let's see, what else? Chamber Gala, as the supervisor mentioned, there were 36 boats, I believe, that were sold the other night. And the Shop Local event today was very well attended by everybody. And I think that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Kaiser?
Okay. I attended the Ulster County Chamber of Commerce meeting. The 2 candidates for mayor of Kingston were running, and it was very interesting. They spoke a lot about financials. They're a little political, so I won't go into that. Buildings and grounds report. Turpening Pavilion is now in place at the Turpening Memorial Riverfront Park. The ice arena, unfortunately, it was supposed to have started by now. It looks like we're about a month behind schedule, but hopefully it stays at a month. We could basically salvage the season, but if it gets worse than that, then we could lose a fair amount of revenue. So let's hope it stays at just a month. Our on-site parking passes are available for $10 for the Garlic Festival, so you can get them either through the town or the Kiwanis Club. And there's off-site parking at the high school for free in the Orange Lot. There's new playground equipment at the J.C. Field in Saugerties. A lot of people have been asking for attention to the J.C. Field. Unfortunately, there's been some vandalism there. So also Central Hudson is putting an electrical drop, so we will be able to install cameras there. And hopefully the cameras will reduce any vandalism. There was a CAC meeting, almost a month ago. There's one tomorrow. But we believe that Saugerties will become the first town in Ulster County. The city of Kingston is certified, but we could be the first town to become climate smart community certified. So we're still waiting, but we're very hopeful. We also discussed the possibility of promoting charging stations. We have a number of EV charging stations, but you're just going to see more and more EV cars. So we're going to see if we can try to promote it through private businesses. Right? If you have a charging station in front of your restaurant, as there's more and more EV cars, then people might want to go to your restaurant so they can charge while they're eating. We're looking at a new chiller for the ice arena, but the cost of that went up, so the chiller will not be installed on this phase of the project, but it could be installed later. There was a lot of discussion about CCA, Community Choice Aggregation, and I also attended the county meeting, Climate Smart Communities meeting in Kingston, and a number of people are interested, they kind of raise eyebrows that Saugerties wants to create its own CCA, and they started asking me tough questions I couldn't answer, and I said, I should bring Vernon Benjamin. So I believe Vernon and I will go to the next meeting, and hopefully we'll get, synergy between the county and the town. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Schoonmaker?
So as Paul mentioned, during the Historic Preservation Commission, they presented a budget proposal, and after a little bit of discussion, I had requested that they do come back with a little bit more of a breakdown on some of their items, just so that we had a better understanding of what their request was. And that's pretty much what took up most of the time for that meeting. For the Saugerties Animal Shelter, I'd like to thank the Chamber of Commerce with their recent gala that they had. They had chosen the shelter to be the recipient of the organization that would be the recipient of funds from the auction this year. And it was really nice to see that they kind of took a break during the middle of the gala, the auction process, to just kind of ask people to just give just a flat donation. And the number of people who were just raising their hand and just giving money, knowing that they weren't even going to be getting a sale book, but just wanted to help the shelter acquire funds for a new building there, was just really heartwarming, and just kind of reminded me why, we love Saugerties. And they're going to also be having their annual fall yard sale on October 5th, and that's going to run from 10 to 2 p.m. So if you're just looking to pick up some things while also helping out a great cause, stop on by. And getting on to shout out Saugerties, it's fast approaching that they run events all the month of October. So there's a lot of events, so I'm not going to bore everyone with listing every single one, but just go onto their website at shoutoutsaugerties.org to find out about all those. There's a lot of interesting ones going on. One of them being, while it's in Kingston, it's going to be kind of like a kickoff where it's going to be a concert out on a barge, so that seems like it should be a lot of fun. And that's both Paul and Mike mentioned, the Guard Festival's going to be coming up. And that's September 28th to September 29th, starting at 10 a.m. and going to 6 p.m. And that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you.
Could I add one more thing?
Sure.
At the planning board last night, the Bluestone Solar was filing for an amendment to the site plan because they had 96 acres, but they acquired another 6 acres from adjoining property who wanted to be involved with that. So they'll, along with that, there'll be some delays that's out of their control, but that project may be delayed for about a year, according to the developers. But that's, they're still hopeful. They're dealing with the Army Corps of Engineers because there's some wetlands there that they have to mitigate before they go forward. So I know that project was earmarked for starting this year, but may be delayed for a bit. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, start with motions or resolutions. Mr. Andreessen.
Motion to approve the proclamation as on file regarding St. Joseph's Church.
Second.
Discussion. As I mentioned in my supervisor's comments, the church celebrated the centennial of being in the building that they are in. The parish predated that a little bit. It's always interesting to look back. It tells you so much about where you are. And one of the things that struck me was the diocese felt it was important in 1919 to install a priest there who spoke Italian. That was a reflection on the wave of Italian and Irish immigrants that came into the area and professed Catholic faith. And I thought that was an interesting little tidbit. And it's nice to celebrate the building, but not just with the Glasgow Church, but with all the churches throughout Saugerties, which we are rich with. The membership really defines those, and they are truly living organizations. So as they hit milestones in their existence, it's nice to celebrate those and share those moments with those parishioners. Any further discussion?
I'm sure that priest had to speak Latin fluently as well.
Yes, in 1990 for sure, yeah. That was up until the early 70s. Okay. Mr. Andreessen?
Yes.
Mrs. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Kaiser?
Yes.
Mr. Schoonmaker?
Yes.
I vote yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution as on file to amend Chapter 117 of the Town Municipal Code to include the collection of recreation fees on subdivisions.
Second, discussion. This is an adoption to clarify the practice by which the fees are collected. We do that in lieu of a 2% set aside. We ask developers to pay a fee. That's reflective a little bit of how Saugerties does it. Our recreational opportunities are mostly centralized here on Canatine Field, and we use these monies to make capital improvements over time. And there was a little bit of discrepancy on how those fees were collected. This agreement will memorialize that and provide clarity for developers and for the planning staff to collect those monies. Any further discussion? Mr. Andreessen?
Yes.
Mrs. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Kazic?
Yes.
Mr. Schoonmaker?
Yes.
I vote yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve the settlement agreement as on file regarding the call-out procedure pertaining to the highway department.
Second.
Discussion. It's very common for the highway department to have the responsibility to call out staff. It comes with 24/7 operation in response to snowstorms, fallen trees, and other emergencies. It's important in our contract with the employees that there's a clearly defined procedure as to who is eligible to be called out. We want the best talent that's available and the proper skill set to match the need at the moment. And this agreement will clarify that process as well, and it'll allow the highway department to fulfill its mandate to provide safe roads and safe passing especially during times of emergency. Would you like to add anything? Okay. Any further discussion? Mr. Andreessen?
Yes.
Mrs. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Kazic?
Yes.
Mr. Schoonmaker?
Yes.
I vote yes.
I would like to amend the agenda and make a motion for a temporary easement for the American Petroleum Equipment and Construction Company Environmental Remediation Program at the Town of Saugerties Sunoco Gas Station on Old Route 32, a town road.
Second.
Discussion. We avoid at all costs adding to the original agenda. We like to publish agenda for the board's review on the Thursday prior to a meeting, giving the board a full week to digest it. Both of these came to us this afternoon. They had to be reviewed by the attorneys and other consultants to make sure that they were lawful and achieve their intended goal. And we believe this one does. This one is we have a gas station which had a serious leak. That leak is in the process of being remediated, and it requires an easement under a town road to continue that remediation process. Obviously, we want to ensure that the residents who depend on well water in that area are not stalled by us not having an opportunity to vote, so we felt this warranted moving it forward this evening. Any further discussion? Mr. Andreessen?
Yes.
Mrs. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Kazic?
Yes.
Mr. Schoonmaker?
Yes.
I vote yes.
I'd like to amend the agenda and make a motion authorizing the town supervisor to sign an agreement with Central Hudson granting an easement for any use relating to electric, gas, or communication industry, including but not limited to the installation, operation, and maintenance of overhead and/or underground electric, gas, or communication facilities.
Second. Discussion. Similar comments on this one. This one's relative to the interconnection that will take place after the panels are installed at the landfill. Those panels will be connected to the electric service grid. In order to enable that, poles have to be set that will provide the primary cable to connect the energy being generated on the landfill to the power grid. We certainly don't want to delay that. There's a lot of moving pieces here, and this is relatively straightforward, so we felt that priority to move this forward as well this evening. Any further discussion? Mr. Andreessen?
Yes.
Mrs. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Kazic?
Yes.
Mr. Schoonmaker?
Yes.
I vote yes. I think that concludes. Great. Did we miss anything? Okay.
Mr. Supervisor, could we
Yes.
close in memory of Don? Okay.
Sure. Yeah, that would be appropriate. So please join us in a moment of silence in memory of a longtime resident, Cubs fan, good family man, and a person who's very dedicated to service, Don McKay. All right, thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion?
Discussions? Yep. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all for coming. Our next scheduled meeting is Thursday, September 19th. A public hearing, that's tomorrow evening at 5:30 for a zoning law amendment to establish the escrow account. And then Wednesday, October 2nd, 2019, our pre-board meeting will be at 6:30. Our town board meeting will be at 7 p.m.